This is the 9th festival overall, and the 3rd year that we've worked directly with the V&A as the main headquarters or the hub for the festival program. We've been programming and working out the content for our residency here since the last festival, and I think in some ways it's changed and evolved into something that really is attracting a lot of interest, both in terms of the professional interest from across the design industry who are here to see new ideas and innovations. We also know there's a huge public interest in the festival, and you can see from the numbers that we've got here this weekend that not only are they here to engage with the Digital Design Weekend, but they're here to look at all of the installations and of course the exhibitions that the V&A has been putting on as well. As for the Digital Design Weekend, I mean, it's just been amazing. I think that one of the things that I think has happened is that it's become much more embedded in what we do as a partnership. And so our conversations with the digital team here have been going on again for a good year or so. I think they've got to know the profile of visitors that come to the festival, and I think that we have got to a place where we're able to promote the digital weekend as a kind of a climax, a highlight of the whole festival as it comes to a close, basically.
And I've been here at the V&A really loving the Digital Design Weekend. It's really brilliant to have something that contextualizes all this digital design. So much of it gets lost because people are looking for chair design and things like that. Digital design is less tangible, but here what's great is you get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people getting stuck into it, playing with it.
This was 3D printed and dyed in certain ways, same color of my shirt. But more than just 3D print it or produce it, we now started a new company called Digital Forming that develops software, 3D software, that connects the user to the designer in a direct way. The designer has his Odo side, original design objects, and the user has his own side. We call it co-design objects. We can offer shape modification within boundaries, so the user will not ruin the design, but I believe can maybe add from his own personal set of values, and then kind of vote, yes, I like this pink or green, but I also like this like that or like this. It's a bit dark, but you see the difference. We can also go and do something a bit different like that. So all these are kind of babies of the same family. We are treating objects as files, and we apply physical properties to objects, and we can optimize the internal structure of objects, like this, the Ocean chair, that you can see that the red bits that are coming up now are the internal structure, and this chair was produced using third amount of the anticipated material usage, which is a big save. But we can also take this file as a geometry and email it and send it to be locally produced close to your home.
And it's quite simple. It's made with an Arduino board and a GSM module, play module, which those two kind of made to connect together. And there's some simple programming for LED light changing RGB values. So if you text green, you are really telling the light pots to go into the RGB values of what green is. It's a very simple interface. Just the interface is really made for if you imagine the light pot sitting in a cabinet and you're standing outside, and you can then text it to make it interactive. So for me, there was a challenge in how do you make something interactive which sits inside a cabinet. And that's how I thought of the kind of texting aspect of it. And it's obviously part of the event, and it's part of Women Who Works with Technology. So it's a really interesting challenge to have the brief of making a teapot and then make it your own. And so this is a good solution, I thought, to do something kind of fun, playful.
we created all these kits. The Lumiphone kit, which is our flagship product, our flagship kit. What that does, it comes as a little kit like this, disparate components, little circuit board, LEDs, resistors, switches, speakers, the works. You solder the whole thing together in about an hour, and at the end of it, you end up with something that looks like this, which is not just these electrical components, but actually a musical instrument, which, believe me, if you practice for hours on end and annoy all the friends around you, you'll become very good at. I call this particular track the Flight of the Mosquito. Hey? Amazing what you could do. Anyway, or you could really go grunge.
I'm here to demonstrate my latest prototype, which is going to be a device that gives you an audio touch tour. So this is a wearable sensor which is being stretched around the index finger, so it's wearable. The cable goes into an iPod where the input of the sensor is being translated into sound. So I'm using an app called RJDJ, which is a pure data patch, basically, which translates the touch into sound. If I just touch now different materials, I get different sound feedback. So depending on the way I touch, depending if I gently stroke or if I hit things, you get a different sound feedback. So we're going to make an audio touch tour 3 times today, where we're just going to walk around. I'm going to show some places to people where I think it's interesting to touch, and they can just try different things and try the different sounds and see what they think. Because it's very different if you walk around and you just look at things, or if you walk around and you actually touch the things and you're schmoozing walls and get an audio feedback.
My name is Zachary Eastwood-Bloom, and this is a piece called We Control the Horizontal and the Vertical, and it was primarily a test to discover what happened with acrylic when it had light shining through it from a kind of a back source. And it was experimenting with laser cutting and the kind of fibre optic qualities of the material. Each individual piece is laser cut and slotted into a kind of backboard and backlit, and the light travels through the material, creating this kind of light effect on the edge of the acrylic. The idea of landscape, most of my work kind of explores the kind of idea of the material world and a digital world coming together, and what happens when those two things collide, I guess.
2011 has been a really fantastically successful time for the festival, and we've enjoyed a very positive relationship with the V&A again. I think that this year we've concentrated on making sure that there's some engaging content that's really embedded across some of the collections of the museum.
It's just great to have all this sort of thinking about design on show, not just sort of going around and sort of just nodding, saying, oh, that's nice, but there's some real engagement going on.